Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about monthly layouts. The monthly layout is something I would say was probably what I kind of slept on in terms of my planning. I was purely using it for kind of appointments and holidays and things like that, and nothing else, which you may kind of listen and go, well, yeah, that's what the monthly layout is for. But what I mean is that I wasn't using the monthly layout to really pre-plan in any way. I was just kind of letting the month roll around, and then I'd sit and look at my monthly spread when planning my week and kind of going, okay, this is what I'm doing. And then I didn't really have a way of kind of capturing regular tasks or big kind of yearly tasks in any proper way in the monthly spread. And it meant that, you know, if I had a week that I was on holiday and out of the country, but there was a load of stuff that needed doing, like paying the council tax or something like that, until it kind of got to the week, I wasn't really kind of facing into, okay, when am I going to do that instead? And so I wasn't truly doing any kind of pre-planning. I was just letting the months and the weeks roll around. And you can kind of see in some of the older layouts that I kind of had kind of bits of, you know, dropping in a few tasks during the month when I was kind of setting up this that I knew I needed to do, like paying my council tax or getting a subscription, things like that. But I wasn't doing anything beyond that, and I wasn't kind of planning when to do it. It was just almost a brain dump of everything I knew I needed to do that month, although even then it wasn't everything, because there's definitely more tasks than that in the month. And I don't necessarily mean kind of all of the regular weekly tasks and things like that. So it's never about kind of capturing every single thing that needs to be done in a month in the monthly spread, but just those bigger things, the things that might happen only once a month or once a quarter or once a year, or, you know, if there's a wedding that I need to plan for, so I need an outfit and gifts, things like that. I was kind of, like I say, just dropping in the odd bit here and there, but not really organising when that was going to be done, and just doing it very ad hoc in the moment. And so over the past couple of years, I've been really kind of honing this monthly layout and setting it up to allow more planning ahead. And actually, you know, when I have set up the month in my weekly spread for the week as a task, it isn't just a case of checking to make sure that all of the plans are captured in here that I know. It's more about actually sitting down and going, okay, what am I going to do when, each part of the month, each week? Do things need to move around, shuffle about, slotting in some ad hoc things, and just ensuring that actually from a capacity perspective, I've smoothed out my weeks, and I don't have, you know, one week where I suddenly need to do everything, which happens to be a week that I'm away with work, and it just gets chaos. So I now feel like I've got to a place where I'm in my most productive setup and I can properly pre-plan my month. So I thought today's video would just be talking you through that spread, how I have it set up, and yeah, talk you through the process really. I don't think it's anything kind of life-changing, but it was probably my biggest, like say, blind spot in planning, and it's really helped me just feel a little bit more organised and planned, so I thought it was worth sharing. To kick off though, I do want to show you kind of a couple of bits that I have set up that are kind of instrumental in making this whole layout work. So first, we have my perpetual calendar. So this is just in my Filofax. It's currently in my Malden, which I'm in the middle of rejigging some Filofaxes, so this isn't in its most perfect place, but in terms of just showing you the setup of it, it works. So in here I have a printable calendar, which I'm going to say is from Etsy. I will drop a link when I find out where it's from, because it is a lovely, simple, undated calendar that, yeah, works perfectly for this. Very cheap, I've had it for years, just, yeah, set it up once, done. And I have this, and like I say, perpetual calendar, so I've kind of tried to cover up the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I don't reset this up every year. And all I do in here is drop in things like birthdays and anniversaries and things like that I will need to know, because I will need to buy cards or, you know, send a message or something. And then I drop in, using post-it notes, things that I need to do that month that are big things. So Some of these will be financial things from my expense planning setup, which I did do a video on, which I will leave a link on, but I will just drop them in here just so that I've kind of got them at a glance. So for example, this month I need to do my car insurance, things like that, and renewals for like the website and eye tests, they all kind of get dropped in here. These are on post-it notes rather than written in, because if I bought a new car or sold my car or something like that, date might change, for example. It probably won't because it hasn't changed for the past few years, but this just feels like something that could change, and so I'm just going to put it in the post-it note rather than kind of committing it to the spread. It also means as well that I'm not committing it to a date. It's just a flag of, in February my car insurance is due. Okay, cool, I know that going into February. I then have post-it notes for a few kind of regular tasks. So when I get my hair done, so I will generally get my hair done probably every 8 to 12 weeks because I do have it dyed. So that's just in there so that I know that my hair appointment will be due. And then when I book it in for February, I'll then just move it along to when it will next be due. Mascara is written in here, so I just make a note of, well, I change my mascara and like toothbrush heads every 3 months, and so I just put a flag in here so I know which month that at the end of it I need to bin or change. And that's all this is for really, and it's really handy to have. It means that setting up the month in my main planner is a lot easier because I have everything all kind of there in one place, particularly when it comes to when it comes to birthdays and things. And yeah, there's just the post-it notes of the extra little bits that I'll need to know. That's number one. And then number two, I have my, what I call regular task list. So this is in my cousin. I set this up fresh every year in a different format according to, so I think last year I had it in my Halifax. This year it's in my cousin, which I'm using as my main planner and commonplace. And what this basically is my attempt at, I guess, smoothing out my week and just making sure that I capture all of my regular tasks so that when I'm planning my week, I can refer to this and just ensure that all of the things that I do every week are slotted in somewhere and don't forget about anything, because it's really easy for me to do. So that's the left-hand side. And then the right-hand side is the monthly tasks that only get done once a month. And how I've kind of got this split out is the top part is things that I do on certain days. So for my tasks, like chores and things like that, I just have a set day that I do certain things just to make it a little bit easier to remember. And then there's certain things that get done on certain dates because of when, so for example, I do my finances on the 1st of every month for the previous month, just a quick recce of, okay, money in, money out, profit, so that when I come to do my tax return, it's a lot easier because I've literally done all 12 months already, and it's literally just an adding up exercise. And then, you know, like when I'm logging certain income, like because AdSense comes in on the same day every month, when I'm paying the council tax being a big feature of this video so far, which I don't know if that's a thing outside of the UK, but effectively you just pay the local government once a month, and the amount you pay varies according to the value of your house, and it's just paying for local services basically, so it's a monthly bill. And then what I have underneath is the other list. So the other list are the things that might be either more ad hoc but will still need to be done. So like doing my nails, for example. So I do my own nails. It's a lot cheaper, so I just do my gel nails myself, but I don't obviously do that every week. I'll do that. I'm running at about 3 weeks actually with these. Very, very, very impressed with them. So I just note them in there. Water plants, so I do this every week, but I do it when my app tells me to, so it's not a set day because different plants will need watering on different schedules, but I just have that in there as a flag. And then when we talk about the monthly regular tasks, so I get paid every 4 weeks, and so I don't have a set day that I put money into savings or pay my credit card, and you know that will change, so I just have it in this box. But then I also have things like monthly chores that I do that don't need to be done on a certain day. So car wash, try and get done once a month, switching out bath mats, doing some hand washing, setting up the month, things like that. Just bits that they don't have to be done by a certain day. Like obviously setting up the month means the following month, so ideally it needs to be done a few days before, but it's not, I don't do it, you know, 15th every month without fail. And so between this and the perpetual calendar, I kind of have everything I need to set up the month in a nice clear way. I've got all of my kind of regular and the big ad hoc tasks in front of me so that I can sit and kind of really properly plan out what's going to happen each week. So to show you what I'm actually banging on about, let's go to this month's monthly spread. So I'm going to show you in my cousin because it's my main planner and it's bigger and neater, but I will also show you how I've done it in the smaller size planners, just for reference in case you're using something that isn't an A5 size. So like I say, it's nothing massively revolutionary, but it's just been really, really helpful for me. So first thing I do is I just put in my plans. Dead simple. I don't pre-plan generally in here in terms of kind of when I make a plan, drop it in. I have my EDC, my everyday carry, which is a passport TM. Everything goes in there as and when I make it, because that's the planner that I carry with me every single day. So that's where I actually need to know future plans so I don't double book myself. I don't necessarily need it for this. So yeah, I set up the month where basically I put in all of the plans from the passport TM that's definitely happening and put it in here, and just use these little icon stickers from the shop to mark out everything. So like I say, everything that goes in here is 90% plans and events. The only exceptions to that is there are birthdays in here, and then I do mark in paydays just for reference at a glance, really, because it helps when I'm setting up my weekly spread to know, okay, so that is a Etsy payday, that's normal payday from work, etc. So that's the main bit. Then what I do is I take the plans from the perpetual calendar or anything that's in there basically, which I've obviously already done with birthdays, but I then take, so car insurance, mascara, anything like that, I then plot it in here. So I change my mascara, like I say, every 3 months. So, and that always happens at the end of the month. So that gets written in that week, for example. And then car insurance, I had sorted the previous month anyway, because I got an email from the insurance company. So that didn't go in there because by the time I set up February, that had already been and gone. So I didn't need to add anything for that. And then I go through and look at this list and go, right, okay, so what needs to be done and when, and just start slotting things in. So first of the month, Etsy finances and stats, and I just, anything that has a date that has to be done or ideally should be done, it just gets slotted in. So because it's my dad and granddad's birthday that week, I've put in kind of do their gifts. I get paid on that Friday, or I did get paid on that Friday, and so all my financial tasks for the month get dropped in there, because that's when I do my budget setup. I pay the joint account monies for the mortgage and things like that. That all gets done. And then I just start kind of building up a view of the month based on what needs to be done when. Then I'll have some tasks left over. So if we look here, so there'll be things like bath mat, car wash, hand washing, content plan, stuff that can be done kind of whenever. I'll then slot these in to weeks that make sense. So here, for example, I was out for a few days with work, so I didn't actually add anything extra onto here. That's just the 2 tasks that needed to be done that week: medication for the dog and the council tax. This week though, I had no plans, so actually, yeah, that's a good week to do the car wash. Following week, I've got a few days off work, so actually I can get a few more bits done. So set up March, it's a bit late, but actually I'm off work, so I've got a bit more time. Things like that. It allows me to smooth things out a bit better. And that's kind of just how it's a very quick, simple setup process. I will then think if there's anything else that I need to do during the month. So some of the tasks in here aren't written in the regular task list or in the perpetual calendar. So one of the things like moving a hair appointment, because I knew that I realised that the hair appointment I had booked in was clashing with a wedding. So I was like, right, okay, that day, or that week rather, I just need to get that moved, which I then did move. And yeah, I just build up the big tasks for the month, really, the tasks that absolutely need to happen, that aren't regular weekly tasks. And it just it's nice to have it all kind of visible there. Some months there'll be more than others, depending on, you know, have I got holidays, birthdays, parties, things like that. I don't write in here pack for holiday, for example, or pack for time away, because that's just it's a standard thing that has to happen. What I might write in here is if I've got a big holiday coming up, I might write in just do kind of recce of toiletries, for example, so that I can make a order on boots if I know that I need to buy some more miniatures to take away. Things like that would go on here because that's kind of a pre-prep thing and over and above the usual create a packing list and then pack. But that's effectively it. And like I say, I've been honing this over a few years now. So where I kind of probably first started splitting it out in this way was actually when I was doing One Book July. So 2023 I did my first One Book July, I think it was, and because of how the page was in terms of the size of it, I had some spare space here. So I'd always, you know, as we've discussed, I'd always had some form of plans on here. So then I just started trying to brick it up by week, just as part of the setup process. So start dropping in, actually this needs to be done this week. I would then I started having just general tasks here that didn't need to be done on a certain day or week. And then over time, I just started when setting up the month, started just moving them into, okay, actually I'm going to do it on this certain week instead. Yeah, so by August, I'd already just started plotting it out by week, just as part of the setup process. I then did the same thing last year in my cousin weeks, and because last year the weeks was my main planner, so this is where I really fully got into the swing of actually the tasks go in here. They don't go anywhere else. They get allotted a week as soon as I set up the month. One thing you can see that I have experimented with, and I did actually quite like doing this last year, having it all in one place. I've just changed up how I do habit tracking for this year, but particularly with the cousin or the weeks, because of the spare space at the bottom, if you are struggling with habit tracking or keeping on top of habit tracking, I did really enjoy having it on the monthly spread, because it was a place that I would be looking at regularly anyway, and having it in a separate random notes page here that I wasn't going to necessarily have the impetus to look at daily didn't really work for me. It was an out of sight, out of mind. But having it on my monthly spread, really visible, and having the whole month together so I can see trends and what's working really well, what's not working really well for a full month at a glance, really enjoyed, really got a lot out of it. Obviously some months were better than others, but I did like having it together here and having it super visible. I did prefer it to having it on the weekly spread, because again, I like to see the month at a glance and see how well did this month go. This month went quite well, then it started tailing off. But yeah, that is the setup. Like I say, nothing revolutionary, but it's really working for me. It's really helping me actually pre-plan my month, make sure that I don't have stupid weeks where I've organised far too much and then left myself with not enough time. It's a really easy setup. It works in different planner sizes, because that's the main thing. It's not a case of, you need a big A5 planner. A lot of layouts now have that setup, and I've actually seen personal sized Filofax inserts, not from Filofax, but personal sized ring inserts, I probably should say, that also have similar layout that give you that space to do it. So I think it's quite an adaptable layout and quite workable for different planners. But hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you do have any tips on anything that you do slightly different that really get the most out of the monthly layout for you, please let me know in the comments. Love to hear your ideas or what you guys do in your planners. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.